Does anybody else ever get the feeling that WWE is always lost and confused with Sami Zayn? I have been saying for a little bit now that it's a bit awkward for Sami Zayn to be facing Gunther this early on in Gunther's reign as World Heavyweight Champion. And I don't know if this services Gunther well or Sami well. I think in the long run, maybe this makes, I think in the long run this could work if, because I think it's undoubtable that Sami's taking the L, okay? But I cannot help but feel like it's just odd to me to have this match this early. Considering the history they've had. And with Sami being the only one on the main roster to pin Gunther, as far as I remember. I know there's going to be that one guy in the comments like, well, actually, I'm just saying this guy pinned him. As far as I can remember, Sami's the only one to pin Gunther on the main roster. And I just think it's really weird and odd for this match to be happening this early. I mean, this is a big match. There's a very well-baked and, well-conditioned story behind these two. I mean, they have a lot to work off of and make something really special, but I feel it's really odd that this match is being done so early. And I mean, there's so much to feed off of with a feud like this, but it's just being given. Like, and it comes off like, it's hard to say. It comes off like WWE doesn't really know what they want to do with Sami. And I don't know how much longer you could wait to not have Sami win a World Heavyweight Championship. Not World Heavyweight, but World Championship. In my opinion, it's a bit wild that he still never has won the WWE Championship. It's insane. Kevin Owens has won it. Sami, though, he's never won it. And he's not won a world title ever. He's never won a World Heavyweight Championship at that. And it's just really weird. I don't know what the direction is for Sami. I know some theorize a little bit and think he will be in the Bloodline story, and that would be amazing, but I feel as though it's only worth anything if eventually this leads to him being in a position to where he is guaranteed to possibly be winning a world championship. And it's just, I don't know if that Bloodline story will, I don't know if it's the best way to get him there. But again, that was like maybe peak Sami Zayn, so maybe it is the best. But I just don't understand particularly what Sami's direction is. Too often in WWE, he's had just like these moments, like he's getting pushed, he's super over, people super love him, they want to see him go to the very tippity top, and then he gets there and he gets knocked right off, and then he's like, well, I don't know what to do, and then just wanders around for a good bit, and then he gets right back to that same position of he's almost at the tippity top, knocks off, and then he's just wandering around. So I don't really know. It feels really weird where Sami Zayn is in his career right now, and I just feel like that story of him winning a world championship, he needs to be WWE champion. He needs to be at some point sooner rather than later the top guy. And I just feel it's sad that he hasn't gotten that. And the World Heavyweight Championship is like practically made for him. So I really hope that if this storyline is being done now, that there's implications for something bigger. Because what I could see happening, and this is where I felt my biggest contribution was with this video is my booking idea for Sami. You could have him lose his feud, which he's going to, and he has to, because Gunther cannot lose this early right now. You could have him lose, and, Gunther goes on to have a good reign as World Heavyweight Champion, and eventually he loses. I don't know who he loses to, but either he somehow comes back later on to beat Gunther, or this is what I'm thinking, Gunther loses to somebody, not Sami Zayn. However, Gunther goes on to win the WWE Championship. From who? Again, I do not know. I do not know if Cody will be champion by then. Maybe he will, maybe he won't. I'm not opposed to him losing it, I just don't know who. So that's not this kind of video. We're just talking about Sami and how he could attain the status that he rightfully has earned and deserved as to being a world champion. Gunther could get the WWE Championship, and we can revisit their feud and their story by having reference of, hey, I beat you the first time on, our big first match for the championship of the IC title, and then second time around, you beat me. We run this a third time. We have a classic feud. We have a classic rivalry. Let's run it a third time, but this time for the big boy, the WWE Championship, which I have never won. I've never won a world championship. That to me is that's a WrestleMania main event worthy match. It's big. The story and the build would be there. And I think if that's the long-term story, perfect. Because each wrestler would have just enough reasons to go over, right? Sami beat Gunther the first time. Gunther beat Sami the second time. And now they're fighting for the biggest championship that they can get in wrestling, in WWE. And that is the WWE Championship. So I think that's a phenomenal way to book it. I don't know how long it would take to get that. However, it's definitely an opportunity. It definitely is something that if it's on the table, you should definitely take it, because the opportunity itself is like, it's a keyhole opportunity. It's like very narrow. And I think that would be something that could really boost Sami and Gunther to a high level, just on a story front alone. Wrestling in ring, we know what they can do. But, I think Sami, he needs I just want to see him finally, when his career is all said and done, finally feel like he had a overall purpose. And he's always come off as the underdog, but it just feels odd that he just doesn't seem to sometimes have a direction. He just seems to wander around and float through the roster until something catches him. So it's nothing bad. I'm not pissing on Sami Zayn. I just want him to feel like he's always on the move. He's always having a purpose on the roster. Because Kevin Owens always feels like he has a purpose and he's moving along the roster. Even when he doesn't seem to have like a major story going on, he feels like he's developing in some way, shape, or form. Always on screen, always progressing as a wrestler and a character. But Sami Zayn feels like he has these halts in his career, and it's just random. It feels odd. It doesn't feel great. It doesn't feel natural in terms of the progression of his, peer like a Kevin Owens. It feels like sometimes he just gets in the limelight and he gets going. And that's good. We want Sami Zayn to succeed. But I want for everything for Sami to be as peak as it possibly can, because he's a phenomenal wrestler. He's a phenomenal storyteller. And I don't see why sometimes it feels like he's just floating in the roster after like losing a championship or losing a feud or whatever. So it's just, it's just odd. Just my thoughts, my opinions. I just wish there was a bit more to what he had going on in his career. But just a video to, chat a little bit, thoughts and opinions about what's going on in WWE lately. I don't talk a lot about WWE as of recent anyway, and there are definitely things that could be improved in WWE. But overall, WWE's been on a hot streak. I love it. So it's kind of hard to make videos criticizing it. But, I'll praise things when need to be praised. But let's be real, that isn't good news. You guys want to hear the criticisms. You want to hear the problems, the exposés, the exposed, the cupcakes. If you got that reference. If you got that reference. But yeah, just my thoughts and my opinions. Let me know what you guys think about Sami Zayn's career, where his position is, and how you feel about him overall. Just as a wrestler and, what he's done and where he could possibly end up nearing the end of his career. I don't think he's like done. I'm not saying like, he's in his 50s. I'm not saying that in that way. I'm just saying, time is progressing and he hasn't, I don't think he's reached his absolute peak yet. The absolute best that he can do. I believe he has more. But those are just my thoughts and opinions. Let me know what you guys think. Join the Discord, and I'm out. Peace.